Hi, I'm Lisa Marie, and welcome to my channel, Living My Best Life. I love to do videos on DIY, crafts, and interesting topics. We can live our best life doing whatever makes us happy. I hope you'll join me.
Let's jump right in with DIY number 1 and 2. This is going to be, a two-part kind of a DIY because I've got one thankful picture that I'm making and then 3 little owl signs. So what I've done is I found a really cute thankful napkin from the Dollar Tree, and I decided to Mod Podge it onto foam board and create a frame out of the dark tumbling tower blocks that you get at Dollar Tree. So all I'm doing right now is figuring out about how large I need to make that frame, and then I'm going to start gluing the pieces together with hot glue, and I'm using my square to try to keep everything straight. I'm going to reinforce every connection of those tumbling tower blocks with some hot glue and then kind of press it down a little bit so that it seeps in. Just want to make sure that they stay together because sometimes they do come apart if you don't use like wood glue or E6000, and I didn't do that. And now I am just cutting out my foam board. I used some scrap foam board that I had left over from another project, so I don't waste anything. And now I'm putting the Mod Podge on there so that I can attach the napkin. Now I cut the napkin and I used another piece of the napkin so I could get that little border that's on the bottom also on the top. So you'll see I have another little piece that I cut. And so I'm going to attach that, and I just like the way that looks with the design on the top and the bottom. Kind of makes it a little more festive. And then a trick that I learned is to use some saran wrap over the top, and I'm using a brayer, but you could use your fingers. That way you don't get, it doesn't get sticky and the napkin doesn't come up. Especially with napkins and tissue paper, you have to be super careful. And I did separate the plies, so you want to make sure that you're only using the top part. If it says 1 ply, that means there's a piece to remove. If it said 2 ply, there's 2 pieces to remove. Just a little rule of thumb there. And now I'm sealing it with the Mod Podge on top as well. While that's drying, I'm going to figure out how I'm going to make the 3 little owl pictures that I have. So I'm measuring with my blocks to see what will be the right size, the number of blocks, just like I did with the other one. And then I'm going to cut accordingly and get my foam board ready and Mod Podge it to the foam board, just like I did with the last one. And as always, if I have a little mess, I pull out my little LADYBUG desktop vacuum and clean it up. That thing is so cute. I just love using it. And now for the fun part. I love embellishing things, and so I'm adding some colorful leaves. I'll be adding a little bit of twine because twine looks good on just about everything, right? And some lace, so just sit back and watch and enjoy. This part is so fun. And of course, there's always like a little bit of foam board that ends up hanging over the frame. So I just got out my straight edge and my cutting board and just went ahead and trimmed that off. And what would a farmhouse project be without some wood beads? So I decided to add a wood bead in the center of each of my little twine kind of spirals there. Yeah, almost like a flower. And I painted them and distressed them and then hot glued them right into the center. I am so happy how these turned out. They are just so cute. You know, you could style these on a tiered tray. You could put them in different places. I just kind of put them together to show you, but you guys, I love them. Oh my gosh, so easy. DIY number 3. Now this one I lost some footage. I don't know how I did that, but I will try to walk you through this. So I'm using the sign that Dollar Tree had with the pumpkins and the footballs, and then some tissue paper that has those little silver and white chevrons. I only used the 3 pumpkins and I used the back side. I did not paint it first because I wanted the darker to show through. I Mod Podged the tissue paper right on and then sanded around the edges. I wrapped each of the stems with nautical rope and hot glued them to secure them in place. I had these little wood words from the Target dollar spot that said grateful and thankful, and then I used my orange Arteza paint marker to write the word blessed to try to match it. Originally, I used nautical rope and made them like a long hanging sign, and I decided then to take it off, and now we're caught up to where my filming is. So I'm basically rearranging them so that they're more of a cluster, and I'm hot gluing them together, and then I'm going to hang them once they are attached. And I used some clamps to make sure the glue dried, and then I just went ahead and reinforced the back with some more glue. And And rather than wasting the nautical rope that I already had, I decided to reuse it, and nobody would ever see the part that was ripped off from the hot glue. So I figured it would just be on the back side. And I just went ahead and hot glued it to the back accordingly so that I would have a nice little hanger. Seriously though, I love these. They're a little glam, they're a little modern farmhouse, and they're so cute. Oh my gosh. Friends, I'm just going to take a quick second to say thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, definitely do that. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Doing all these things helps my channel grow, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And join me in social media on Facebook and Instagram. I'm under Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie in both places, and I can't wait to see you there. And DIY number 4 is our last DIY today. And I think this might be my favorite. You'll have to let me know if it's yours. I've got a wreath form from Dollar Tree. I've got some of the buffalo check mesh from Dollar Tree. I have this cute little paint set of a little Happy Harvest truck with pumpkins and stuff in it. And then I'm using also some ties, and I don't think I got those at Dollar Tree because we had those in our toolkit. And what I'm doing is I'm taking the mesh and I'm attaching it about every 4 squares. I'm counting, making a loop, and then sticking in the tie. And then I'm pulling another 4 squares, making a loop, and sticking in the tie. And I'm going to do that all the way around the wreath. You could do this with any size wreath. You could even separate the wreath parts and do it with just one. I didn't do that. I probably should have, but I wasn't thinking of that until now. But anyway, you'll just keep going until you get all the way around. Don't worry about cutting off the ties until you're finished. And that's what I'm going to do right now, using a little cutter. And then I'm just going to go through and right at the point of where they're tightened is where I take them off. There it is. And then I'm going to go ahead and paint the little truck. I'm going to remove the base first though, because I don't need it for this. And I'm going to use a couple of paints that I already have. I'm going to use some that came with it, and I'm just going to paint it kind of any way I want. I'm going to, add a little bit of character to it. I'm going to sand off the glitter on the Happy Harvest part, and I'm just going to let you watch. I'm just going to kind of go at it and paint it. And you could do that any colors that you want. This is your truck. You get to do what you want. Now that the sign is painted, I am going to attach some twine to it, and then I used a little spare piece of wood that I had to make sure it would stay. And I'm going to also put some Mod Podge on the front to seal it, which I almost forgot to do. So then I'm going to suspend it in the back by attaching it to the wreath form. And then I'm also going to get some more twine, and I'm going to do it going up and down, because I want to make sure that it kind of floats in the middle of the wreath when you're looking at it from the front. And I'm going to use one of the little tumbling tower blocks to make sure that that one's on. It also adds a little weight, which helps it stand up better. And then I tie it all together, and that really supports it and kind of suspends it into the middle. And of course, that just wasn't enough. I felt like it needed more. So I got out some of my buffalo check ribbon and I decided to crisscross it behind the twine so that you would see it from the front with a little bit of twine over it. And I really love the way that turned out. And I just hot glued it. And you'd think I'd be done at that point, but no, I still thought it needed more. So I got my buffalo check ribbon out again, and I decided to kind of lay it over every 3 of the 4 square loops. So then I hot glued it against the wreath form and then made a loop over the other loop, and as you can see, going all the way around. I decided it needed just one more thing. So I got out my nautical rope and I made a bow, and I put a little teeny piece of the buffalo check ribbon, wrapped it around the center of the bow, and then I kind of frayed the edges a little, added a little hot glue so that maybe it wouldn't fall apart, and I just went ahead and hot glued that to the top center. And now I'm absolutely in love with this wreath. Oh my gosh, it is so cute. I don't think I've ever seen one quite like it, and I'm glad that I kept adding things because I really think it turned out great. I am so in love with this wreath. Oh my gosh, I love everything about it. Oh my gosh, it was so fun to paint, so inexpensive. I mean, this thing probably cost $5, maybe $6 at the most, and you know how expensive wreaths are. And I think anyone could do this. You just have to, either follow the instructions or add your own creativity, whatever you think. I just love it. And then we're gonna have one last look at the rest of the projects that I did. And I sure hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making them. They were super easy, inexpensive, and fun. And there's so many things you could do with them. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Thanks, and God bless you.